Hey friends, Sean from SGT Report here, and we're going to cover a multitude of different subjects in this video, not the least of which is the ongoing revelation of the means by the Illuminati and the powers that be, those aligned against humanity who whistleblower Ronald Bernard tells us are Luciferians. They despise humanity. The bankers, the people at the top of the pyramid, from the Bank of International Settlements right on down, are aligned against humanity, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, I just wanted to share this interesting news, this information. Just the other day, I was invited to an invite-only workshop in New York City by YouTube, and they say the event will bring together leading digital players in the news and politics community, expert speakers, and YouTube professionals to delve into how you can develop a YouTube strategy for your organization. Kindly, they offered to fly me there and put me up in a hotel. It says, not coming from the New York area, no problem. We are happy to provide travel and accommodations for one night in New York. So, I did talk to my YouTube contact about this and gave it a lot of thought. I've been to New York many times. I used to shoot commercials there. And so I'm very familiar with New York, and I love New York. However, it gave me pause because it made me realize upon asking her who the other attendees were. It was a very small group of 21 or 22 other YouTube creators. And among them, she said, I think, I'm going from memory here, I think she said David Pakman. I know she said Breitbart, somebody from Breitbart. And so the question I really had upon hearing the other list of attendees, most of which were channels that I'm not familiar with, is why are they doing this? And of course, yes, I would love to see the YouTube creator space in New York City, but what's the end game here? What would I learn from this? Or is it just a simple appeal to my ego? Certainly, it feels great to be invited by YouTube to go to New York City and take part in something that would benefit newsmakers. But given that YouTube is owned by Google, and Google famously announced in November of 2016 that they have no room for fake news,
there should just be no situation in which fake news gets distributed.
And given the attack against we in the truth media, the real media, what is fake news? Who's the arbiter? Sundar Pichai tells us that Google is the arbiter.
When you search on Google for news that isn't true comes just as high up the search results as news that is true.
This is very important to us. You know, at Google, we've always cared about bringing the most relevant and accurate results to users, and that's where almost all our work goes in at the end of the day. You know, when I look at it, it's important to remember we get billions of queries every day. There have been a couple of instances where it's been pointed out and we clearly did not get it right, and so it's a learning moment for us, and we will definitely work to fix it. Just in the last 2 days, we announced that we will remove advertising from anything we identify as fake news.
And they're going to change their algorithms to filter out fake news results. So again, why would SGT Report be invited to attend this particular session? It definitely appealed to my ego, which is why I'm not going. I decided that I'm not going to go because of a variety of reasons, not the least of which is my privacy is quite important to me, and walking into the belly of the beast, where certainly there's nothing but video cameras and you have to sign releases in case they're shooting there and you might appear in their own YouTube promotions, I just decided it's not the best thing for me, for my channel, or for you, my dear viewers. And so I just wanted to share that with you. I think it's very interesting. I'm flattered by the offer to have been flown there by YouTube and put up in New York City for free to attend this. And perhaps it's an opportunity that I'm now missing because I'm being short-sighted about it. I'm really not sure. I am not going. I already told them thank you, but I can't make it. So give me your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think I should have gone, or do you think I'm making the right call here? Because at the end of the day, I'm already reporting truthful news, real news, and I'm not sure what I could learn at that particular seminar with those particular panelists and invitees that would really allow me to learn anything new or benefit SGT Report as a channel in any concrete way. Anyway, there are other truthers in the world that I do admire, and I've recently made a connection with KJ Osborne from the Scariest Movie Ever channel, who reached out to me via Patreon and pledged a monthly support of SGT Report, and I, of course, pledged support back to him because I do love KJ. We are going to be talking soon. We're setting up an opportunity for an interview. There are so many great YouTubers out there, and I wanted to share this from Richie from Boston. Now, I don't think Richie's ever mentioned SGT Report in any of his videos, and I know Richie says that unless you talk about putting on the full armor of God, you're not a truther. Well, of course, we talk about that frequently, and we talk about spiritual warfare frequently, and I think Richie is largely right over the target in almost all of his videos, and I wanted to share this one, Evil has Stepped into the Light, because as you guys know, we covered in detail the Gothard Tunnel ceremony, the grand opening ceremony, which was very Luciferian, occultic, and satanic in overtone. And I want to play this from Richie, and I'll pause along the way because it's going to lead us into a path of discussion that I think is very important.
This was purely satanic. This is a massive, well-funded, well-attended, well-orchestrated ritual going on right in front of everybody's eyes. Even the mainstream media touched on the evil that encompassed this entire thing. Now, the reason I'm showing you this and things like this, spirit cooking, is because I believe they have come out. They've come out in the demonic pedophilia, criminal, insane, Illuminati bloodline elites have come out. They're no longer hiding in the shadows. They've revealed themselves through so many means. They just don't care anymore. They know that they're above the law because they make the laws.
I'm going to pause it there and I'll play more here in a second, but Richie's absolutely right. As I've just recently posted in a video from whistleblower Ronald Bernard. Ronald Bernard is the Dutch banker, the whistleblower, who has come out and said that at the top of the pyramid, the world is run by 8,000 to 8,500 people who are Luciferians. And his testimony is very, very credible. And I know there's some out there now that are saying he's a disinfo agent. Trust me, those people are put in place to try to discredit truth of all types. Ronald Bernard, I believe, is telling the truth about these people. The people at the highest levels are aligned against humanity, and they hate us. And Ronald Bernard explained recently that at the top of the pyramid is the Bank of International Settlements, which enjoys immunity from any law of man or any laws of any nation states. And that includes the people that work for the Bank for International Settlements. The same is true with the IMF, the World Bank, and right on down the list, the central banks below them. And Ronald Bernard helps us understand why these people are now coming out using their media to reveal their means, to reveal their Luciferian doctrine and their Luciferian beliefs. This is an attack on humanity, and what I think is extremely alarming and scary about this is that they are now wrapping their Luciferian belief systems and their Luciferian strategies into the mainstream media through shows like Fox's Lucifer, through their spirit cooking parties, their private parties, which are now becoming public, and through what Richie is about to talk about here, which is extremely alarming because they are now targeting our youth with Satanism in very overt ways.
They know that they have us over a barrel, and they are rushing to bring in revelations. Now, the reason I say that is because I'm going to show you this right here. This is a concert that's going on right now that many of you might have relatives that are attending right now. It's called Demon Days, and it's sponsored by none other than Red Bull, which is a red being with horns. You get it? This is just one of the many New World Order, One World Order, transhumanist events that goes on. But look at this. They're not even hiding this any longer. Lose yourself at Demon Days. Why would they even put something like that? Because it should say lose your soul at Demon Days, but they didn't want to go that far. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Richie, and I want everybody to know, whether you've watched the video or not, please Google this. The elite don't want you to know God is real. Here's the proof. It's an in-depth conversation I had with my friend author James Perloff about his books, which deconstruct the fabrications of Darwin, the Darwinistic belief systems which makes us all feel like we're just an accident. the Darwinistic belief systems which are only taught now in public schools because they don't want discourse about God and the biblical truth of creation shared in public schools. They want to brainwash the children into believing that do what thou wilt in this world is a-okay. Do whatever feels right. Identify with whatever sexuality or gender you'd like to, because this is all an accident. And they're targeting our youth with despicable, occultic, satanic propaganda like Red Bull's Demon Days. And it's horrifying.
This is absolutely unbelievable. These people have come out in every single possible way there is. We're living in crazy, crazy times right now as a species. And so many people are sitting back and waiting for Jesus to show up and fix everything. We're all under an orchestrated attack right now, and it's coming from every single solitary angle, specifically the children. They came out with spirit cooking, and nobody seemed to care. They did their huge Gothard Tunnel ritual, and nobody seemed to care.
Richie is 100% right. We are all under an orchestrated attack. I've made that point in interview after interview, in video after video. Everything from Pizzagate to Pedogate. Look, my recent interview with Liz Crokin, the investigative journalist who I hold in high esteem, got it right. Liz was 100% right when she said this.
Why are they trying to get this democratically elected president impeached? The answer is pedogate. The answer is sex trafficking. President Trump is the first president in the history of the United States that has vowed to go after not only pedophiles, but the elite pedophiles. The world is run by elite pedophiles.
The keys to bringing down the Luciferian elite on planet Earth are revealing Pizzagate, which is the DC-centric child sex trafficking ring, and Pedogate, which is the global problem of child sex trafficking and, more specifically, satanic ritual abuse. These are the keys. And that's exactly what Liz Crokin communicated in that video. This is why the elite and the deep state are targeting Donald Trump. And I made the point in that interview that if the elite who had tapped Donald Trump's Trump Tower, if they had the goods on him that could reveal him as being a pedophile, or a tax cheat, or a misogynist, or an adulterer, if they had the goods on him in any way, shape, or form, do you think that would not have come out during the election? Do you think that CNN would not have focused on any type of that information 24/7 ad nauseum? Of course they would. Which is why now CNN will only talk about the new investigation by Mueller into Trump's alleged obstruction of justice. When in fact, if we want to talk about and disclose truth, what needs to be discussed is Comey's revelations that Loretta Lynch, the former head of the DOJ, absolutely obstructed justice in the case of the Hillary Clinton investigation. And we know it because of Comey's sworn testimony.
Was your decision influenced by the Attorney General's tarmac meeting with the former President Bill Clinton?
Yes, in a ultimately conclusive way. That was the thing that capped it for me, that I had to do something separately to protect the credibility of the investigation, which meant both the FBI and the Justice Department.
Were there other things that contributed to that you can describe in an open session?
There were other things that contributed to that. One significant item I know the committee's been briefed on. There's been some public accounts of it which are nonsense, but I understand the committee's been briefed on the classified facts. Probably the only other consideration that I guess I can talk about in open setting is that at one point the Attorney General had directed me not to call it an investigation, but instead to call it a matter, which confused me and concerned me. But that was one of the bricks in the load that led me to conclude I have to step away from the department if we're to close this case credibly.
I'll pause it right there, and the reason I bring it up is because truth is important, and the trees that bear fruit in the alt media, the truth media, the real media, provide the fruit that you guys recognize as being real and true news. It doesn't matter what Sundar Pichai says. It doesn't matter what CNN says, Because now Republicans are right to go on the offensive against Mueller and call for special counsel to investigate Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Because it's 100% clear, and of course CNN will not report on this, they will only report on the straw man that Trump obstructed justice. They will not report on the hardcore truth of the matter, which, by using James Comey's own sworn testimony, proves the fact that Attorney General Lynch obstructed justice and wanted to prevent any further investigation or any sort of indictment regarding Hillary Clinton and her hardcore crimes. My friends, I want to thank you all for your support at patreon.com. You're really making a difference for us, regardless of what YouTube or Google do moving forward. No matter how they change the rules moving forward, truth media will persevere. We will live to fight on, because at the end of the day, I don't need to travel to New York City and have my ego stroked to learn how to become a better truth journalist. Telling the truth is very easy, and it doesn't require my face. It doesn't require me getting any sort of notoriety or fame. It only requires fact. True news equals facts. And Mockingbird media sources like CNN, MSNBC, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and the Washington Post are often lacking in facts, and instead might best be described as propaganda peddlers. Thanks so much for joining us, and for real news 24/7, visit us at sgtreport.com.
Attorney General Jeffrey Sessions and President Trump, they have known for a very long time about the pedophilia problem with politicians and the elites.